Moments after liftoff, engines died. 260 lives were erased in an instant, all but one of the 242 people on board and 19 more on the ground. Today, the cockpit's final words are out. Why did the fuel vanish? Why did the fuel vanish? It's July 12, 2025, and today's top trend is a story of profound loss and the search for answers. Welcome to Trending Today. We're focusing on the tragic crash of Air India Flight 171. The disaster has returned to the headlines today with a major development: the release of the preliminary investigation report by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. Exactly 1 month after the crash on June 12th, authorities have provided the first official findings into what may have led to the disaster that claimed 260 lives, 241 from the flight and 19 on the ground. This report is the first step in a long and difficult process to provide clarity to the families of the victims and the public. The report's most critical finding centers on the aircraft's engines. Investigators have determined that the fuel supply to both engines was cut off just moments after takeoff. This catastrophic event occurred when the engine fuel control switches moved from the run to the cut-off position, leading to a complete loss of thrust. With this finding, the investigation is now intensely focused on the cockpit. The report reveals a stunning detail from the cockpit voice recorder. One pilot asked the other why he had cut the fuel. The other pilot responded that he had not done so. This exchange suggests confusion in the cockpit, but does not yet explain why or how the switches were moved. The flight was under the command of Captain Sumit Sabharwal, a veteran pilot with approximately 15,600 flight hours, and First Officer Clive Kunder, who had about 3,400 hours. It is crucial to remember that this report is preliminary. It presents the initial facts but does not assign blame or offer a final conclusion for the movement of the switches. The central, heartbreaking question of why this happened remains unanswered. To understand the weight of today's news, we must remember the initial event. The crash of Air India Flight 171 on June 12, 2025, was a devastating international tragedy. The flight, bound for London's Gatwick Airport from Ahmedabad, crashed just seconds after takeoff, impacting a hostel at the nearby BJ Medical College. Of the 242 people on the aircraft, miraculously, there was a single survivor. Combined with the 19 fatalities on the ground, the event sent shockwaves around the world. So, what comes next? This preliminary report is just the beginning. The full investigation will continue for many more months. Investigators will analyze the flight recorders and wreckage in painstaking detail to build a complete picture of what happened. The ultimate goal is not only to provide answers for the victims' families, but also to implement safety recommendations to prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. For clear, respectful explainers on the stories that matter, subscribe to Trending Today.